this is Tim W. Leathertachi 1996, and welcome to another episode of Season 3 from Godzilla Effects. And today we have Godzilla Tokyo S.O.S. from 2003 now. Now, it's just so crazy that Godzilla's gotten into the 2000s era. And notice right here, Godzilla 1954 skull. Yeah, okay, I understand, like, they show flashbacks of last week's movie, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla from 2002, but seriously, I know they show, like, a flashback, but it's not a very prominent thing in this movie. I mean, if anything's head that should be in that shot, it's the dead Kamibus from like, one scene in this movie. Yeah, and what anybody doesn't know who Kamibus is, maybe a few of you Toho fans out there know who that monster is. Kamibus is a giant turtle monster that first appeared in the movie called Yog Monster from Space, or the other title for it is Space Amoeba. Yes, that movie literally goes by two titles, and Kamibus was like a giant turtle creature that lived on the island that the movie takes place in. Well, it only made that one appearance. Kamibus was only in that one movie. But in this movie, Kamibus shows up again as dead on a beach, with giant claw marks in the side of its neck. And I'm saying this now, I sadly did not get a screenshot of that. I wish I did. Because the prop that they made looks really well detailed. It looks great. Even though the monster is dead, it still looks awesome. And yeah, as one from would expect to the poster, you got Mothra larvae, Godzilla, and Mechagodzilla. There's a total of 6 monsters in this movie. You got Kamibus, Mothra larva. There's 2 of them again in this movie. Mothra herself, and then Godzilla and Mechagodzilla. Now in this movie, thank God they don't call Mechagodzilla Kiryu in this movie. They actually call him Mechagodzilla. Thank you. Like they got. Excuse me about that. I just got done eating some cheese sandwiches a little bit ago. They were good. They were really good. Anyways. And I gotta tell you, this movie, I only found 2 effects cons for this movie. 2. That's never happened. If it has, please say in the description below, because this movie flat out gets a 10 out of 10. Hands down, just like last week's movie, this movie gets a 10 out of 10, because I just love the fact that it's like, okay, Mothra's back. Like, that's cool. And apparently somebody from Toho really liked the fact that they mentioned the original 1961 Mothra film, Mothra's debut movie, in Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, because they have an actor who was in that movie. He plays in this movie as the same character. So I guess you can watch. So I guess to get with this timeline, you can watch Godzilla from 1954, Mothra, then War of the Gargantuas, then Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, and then this movie. I guess that's like the complete monster timeline for this continuity. Because if you haven't noticed by now, if all fans know this, including myself, Godzilla's a multiverse. Like, you can come up with any story for him, make it take place in any time period. Godzilla's a multiverse character. Oh, yeah, sorry for talking about plot. I'm sorry for talking about plot and humans. But the special effects in this movie are really awesome. And they don't feel anywhere near Godzilla 2000. They feel more like Megaguirus. They feel a lot like an upgraded version of Godzilla versus Megaguirus. And I love the fact that they used the same Godzilla suit from the last movie. And if you can tell in this screenshot, look at Godzilla's chest. If you notice the detailing on the chest, the injury, the scar, it's a scar from the injury that Godzilla got in the last movie. after he and Mechagodzilla fought in the ocean. Now, they don't ever show where that scar came from, but from the way it looked like in the last week's movie, it looked like ice. He got hit with ice or something like that. So yeah, but it's still great detail on the suit from the neck down. The face kinda has a little more detail on it, just a little, not a lot, but it has some more detail on it. But from the neck down, he still looks awesome. Like, he still has the heavy amount of detail that he had in Godzilla 2000 and Godzilla vs. Megaguirus. And on the DVD, there's this behind the scenes look, and behind the scenes is just so crazy. Like, when you watch the movie, it looks like Godzilla's just like walking through the part of that was destroyed in the last movie. But then when you see it, it's just this open set with. It's just the way they do this is just cinematic awesomeness. And here's another shot of Mothra. And apparently, there's this thing with Mothra in this movie where the Mothra symbol. What was it? Where the Mothra symbol gets. I'll put a link to that picture in the description below. Just to show anybody who doesn't know what the Mothra symbol looks like or forgot what it looks like will get a chance to see it. They have this thing, it kind of reminds me of Batman, where it's like, where you put the bat symbol up in the sky and Batman shows up. In this movie, it's like, wherever the Mothra symbol's drawn, anywhere Mothra's gonna show up. They don't ever explain that. Please do not ask me how, because I don't even know how. That's just what they say in the movie. And the Mothra puppet has a lot of good detail on it, and they show age. They show how old Mothra is in this movie, because if you notice, a lot of her hair is white. A lot of her hair is white, it's hanging down more. Mothra just has aged a lot, apparently. So it's like, I don't know if this is the same Mothra from her debut appearance. I have no idea. I've never seen her debut appearance. I apologize for that. I really want to, but I sadly haven't been able to find it on DVD nowheres. But this shot's really cool. Like, you can tell it was, like, composited with CG. Like, they filmed Mothra and the people separate, and then with CGI overlap the scenes to blend them, you know. They did a good job on this. I'm sorry I'm sniffling so much. I'm really sorry, folks. But they did a really good job on this movie. And see, here's what I'm talking about Godzilla's facial detail. I mean, they put a little bit more on him than they did in against Mechagodzilla. Like on his bottom jaw, he has more scale detail, and then for the rest of his face to his neck and the little spikes on the little spines on his head, he has like a little more detail, leaning towards 2000 a little bit. So, and also, I said this in the Heisei back in season 2, but look at his nose. He has like cat nose again, like panther snout, I guess. I don't know. That's just me. That's just me personally. It just looks like he has cat nose again, like he did in the Heisei era. So yeah. But the monster fights are great. Like, and Mothra's appearance in the movie is very interesting because the Shobiji, who the two little doll-sized, or the Mothra fairies, they show up and they say that building Mechagodzilla, they warn the humans that building Mechagodzilla is tampering with the dead. I'm not kidding. They literally said taking Godzilla's bones and basically resurrecting that Godzilla in a mechanical sense, basically resurrecting him, was tampering with the dead. So Mothra comes to stop the humans from rebuilding Mechagodzilla, but the counter argument is, oh, we need Mechagodzilla to fight any monsters that attack us. So it's kind of a counter argument. Oh, and they also say that if Mechagodzilla wasn't stopped being rebuilt, then Mothra would declare war on the human race. And I love that they say that. And yet Godzilla freaking kills her. Godzilla kills her by doing the cowardliest thing I've ever seen the big guy do. He shoots Mothra in the back with his atomic breath, and Mothra just bursts into flames and blows up. Like, wow, Godzilla, wow, he's a real dick. He's a real dick in in the Kiryu saga, which is what this movie and last week's movie's called, is the Kiryu arc. And literally Godzilla, he's a big dick. He's a big dickhead for that. But he's still awesome though. And literally it's like Mothra and Godzilla just have this nice big fight. Godzilla shooting at her and Mothra dodging. And Mothra flies pretty fast in this movie. In her other incarnation, she's never flown really that quick. But in this movie, with really good CGI, they make her fly like at Megaguirus speed. Which, in all honesty, I really like that. I really like how Mothra gets a nice like update. I mean, GMK Mothra, you know, still my favorite one right now in the franchise, but I do like this version of Mothra. Huh. It's just so funny. And the thing is, with this movie, you see no wires, you see nothing that controls the monsters, nothing. And the CGI is really great. Especially this screenshot here where they have Mothra. They say like Mothra's attacking with her scales, and I don't know what that's supposed to mean really. I don't know if that means trying to... I don't know what kind of attack this is with Mothra. I'm so confused by it. I really don't understand it at all. Like, I am so confused on what this attack is from Mothra. I really don't get it. But the miniature sets in the movie... The miniature sets are a lot better than they were in Against Mechagodzilla, because they have a lot of detailing on them. The miniature sets are almost they're really close to 2000 in detail. They're very close to Godzilla 2000. And here we have a really great shot. This is wallpaper worthy, by the way. Here we have a really great shot of Godzilla's atomic breath, and like in the last movie, since this is the same Godzilla here, his backplates make the same thumping sounds when they light up to attack. And I love like how Godzilla's atomic breath, it's a mix of Against Mechagodzilla and GMK, because when you look inside, the brightest part of the atomic breath has the very rough standout edges from Against Mechagodzilla, but then the different shade of blue on the outside has very soft. Oh my god, folks, I am so sorry for burping this much. I really am. Anyways, the different shade of blue on the outside of the atomic breath has very smooth edges. So it's like it's a nice blend of last week's movie and then the movie before that. And there's one really great shot when this is the scene. Well, of course, this is when Mothra is fighting Godzilla, and then this is where when Godzilla shoots at her, and Mothra does this ninja dodge move where she just like Megaguirus style gets out of the way, and Godzilla shoots Tokyo Tower, and the explosion that happens is really awesome. It's super good, and it crashes on a building, you know, knocking two of the human characters unconscious. You know, even that piece of effects work was good, because it's like there's just rubble falling all over them. And also right after this, before I talk about the robotic badass, let me finish what I was saying. This is after this. This is where before Mecha G shows up here. It's like Mothra gets her wings injured, and you know Mothra's just really getting her ass handed to her, and then the humans launch Mechagodzilla to help Mothra out, so it's basically a 2-against-1 match with people just shooting at Godzilla, you know, with the military just shooting at Godzilla here. And here we get to see the really great miniature effects work. Like I said, right, it's close to 2000 in detail, but then you have some of the smooth buildings that still look pretty Heisei-ish. But the main focus is the awesomeness that is Mechagodzilla 2003 here, and it's the same one from the last movie, but in this movie they make him more robotic, in this movie because the missile launchers, the weapons on his wrists, I don't know. I like this one better because it looks more mechanical. It looks more machine parts, you know. I don't know. This version just it looks more robotic. It looks more all machine kind of thing. Kind of like reminds me of like Robo-Croc and Terminator, you know, like all machine. And also the and also I at the end of this video I will include a little slideshow of mine. It's this cardboard mock-up that I made of Mechagodzilla. The wrist guns that Mechagodzilla has in this movie, I made a cardboard version. I made a cardboard version of them according to how they look in the movie. And I did it because I don't know, I just thought it was cool. And it was for Halloween and but I will do a slideshow showing my cardboard wrist gun based off of Mecha G here. And yeah, at the end of this video. So yeah, then you got the Mothra larva, who the puppet work was really well done. And I love like how in this movie you don't see the device in the mouth that shoots out the webs. And once again, Godzilla fighting the Mothra larva. Once again, Godzilla gets his tail chewed on by one of the larvae. I guess they really made that a trademark in the Showa era. It began in the Showa era. It happened in the Heisei era. Now here in the Millennium era, one of the Mothra larvae jumps and bites Godzilla's tail, and Godzilla tries to shake it off. It is such like a little funny moment for nostalgia reasons because it's like, oh my god, they actually did that again. And I love the detail on the Mothra larva puppets. I really do. It's got some wrinkles in it. It's smooth skin, kind of like human skin a little bit, but with some detailing on it. It looks really good. And there's this really great effect, like after Mothra dies, the notice how the eye color is blue. There's one point where the eye color changes to red when the two larvae watch Mothra get blown up, and it's like, oh, they're pissed. But I do have one effects con with this film, with the Mothra larva. It's at the very end of the movie, like right before the credits, and it's where the two Shobiji twins, they stand on one of the Mothra larvae as it goes back to Infinite Island. And I wasn't really a fan of it because when the Mothra larvae move, their body, you know, they're giant caterpillars. But in the movie they actually say giant worms. When their bodies move, their bodies undulate on land, you know, they move like caterpillars in nature. But at the very end of the movie, right before the credits, the Shobiji are standing on one of them, and the body doesn't undulate under their feet when it moves, and the water doesn't seem to touch them. I don't know, it just looks too green screened. It really does. It looked a little too green screenish and a little too convenient. I don't know, it just looked really odd. And the fact that the body did not undulate at all in the water, I just was not a fan. I just wasn't a fan of that. And there's this other cute moment between, right in this screenshot here, there's this cute moment between Mothra and the larva that they're all three of them are talking to each other, and then Godzilla just tells them, you know, shut the F up, and gets his atomic breath charged up. And when as soon as Mothra gets back in the air, Godzilla shoots her in the back, and then, like I was talking about earlier, Mothra just bursts into flames and blows up, and then the larva twins, both their eyes glow red, and then they just start going after Godzilla the rest of the movie. And then Mechagodzilla, like in the last movie, Mechagodzilla gets messed up, and then the main human character has to go fix him, you know. So it's like, okay. Wait, hold on a second, folks. Okay, never mind. It's just the phone was ringing, and I just wanted to hear on the phone in the kitchen. I just wanted to hear who it was. But yeah, anyways, So yeah, with the Mothra larvae, the execution is it's actually really well done. And then you got more great miniature effects work around them. And see, here we get another cool shot of Godzilla, and I just love the detail. They make him look more reptilian in this movie. I love that they make him look more like, I guess he looks more dinosaur-ish. They make him look very reptilian, and they also make him look, I don't know. I guess he kind of reminds me of like an Allosaurus. It's like a Allosaurus kind of thing because of his claws, his body style, his color, even, which is charcoal gray. And I don't know. He just reminds me of like Godzilla mixed with an Allosaurus. Really, like if you were to take Godzilla 2000 and mix it with the Allosaurus from Walking with Dinosaurs, is what you get. And I know that's a really odd comparison, but it just he so feels very Allosaurus to me. I don't know why. That's just how he feels to me. That's just my opinion, folks. I don't know. I've never thought about Godzilla that way until now, in all honesty. But yeah, everything about this movie was just really good. The human story was amazing. I loved how, like in the last week's film, it was about a human trying. It was like it. I mean, it was about one. It's a guy this time, and he's a guy that he tries to show what he can do to his peers. I mean, he's just a young man in the military. He's a mechanic. You know, he loves machines, and he tries to show his peers in the self-defense force that he is not scared to fight Godzilla. He's not scared to to help in the battle against giant monsters that invade Japan. And with him and Mechagodzilla, it's just like this whole philosophical thing with people. And this is and the human element was really good in this movie, like it was in against Mechagodzilla. And okay, there's my last effects con for this movie. Like I said, there's only two. There's one effects con that I have where it's actually right before this screenshot. No, it's actually after this. It's after the screenshot. Once again, you got both Mothra larvae shooting at Godzilla. I don't know. I guess the director really just did lots of callbacks to the Showa era with this, with Godzilla fighting the two Mothra larva twins. Kind of very reminiscent of Mothra versus Godzilla, 1964. And my last effects con, my second and last one with this movie, is there's a bit where Mechagodzilla, there's this great effect actually when one of Mechagodzilla's hands turns into a drill, and he shoves it into Godzilla's side, and it's like into his stomach, and then the drill starts going. It drills into Godzilla's skin, and you see his scales, and Godzilla's doing this he makes the sound that is used for woolly mammoths in movies. He makes the mammoth dinosaur sound, and then Mechagodzilla pulls the drill back out. But my problem with that, it was a very cool scene, but there's no blood. I can't believe there's no blood. There was no blood in that scene, which there should have been, because it would make more sense for Godzilla to bleed while having his stomach drilled into. The fact that there wasn't any blood was just really. I don't know. It would have been better if they had blood in it. In all honesty, in my opinion. But like in the last movie, those are my two effects cons. The rest of the movie is effects highlights, like no tomorrow. And what I so love about this movie is there's two scenes where like Godzilla really gets his ass beat. Like he gets the the missile launchers on Mecha G's shoulders. They're missiles themselves. Once again, they shoot off of his shoulders, and this time one of them blows up in Godzilla's face, knocking him down for a bit, and then Godzilla charges forward, and Mechagodzilla literally flips him over his shoulders. Like, Mechagodzilla tries to kick Godzilla's ass in this movie again. Like, he throws Godzilla, like I said, he throws Godzilla over his shoulders and detonates one of the missile cannons at him in his face. I mean, they really try to make sure Godzilla goes down. And Then the Capitol building gets destroyed when Mechagodzilla pushes Godzilla onto the Capitol. It's a really great effect. It really is. And I saw it on behind the scenes where both monsters were ran on a track. They were ran on a track and they fell over and they were pushed over the building. Now, when you watch the movie itself, it does not even look like that at all. Like the way it was shot and edited, it doesn't even look like they were dragged at all on a track any. But yeah, whole movie is just one piece of effects work after another. It's really enjoyable. Like I said, this movie gets a 10 out of 10, and any Godzilla fan who, if you've been sticking with me this entire series since Godzilla from 1954, way back in season 1, if you've been sticking with me this whole time, then any Godzilla fan needs to watch this movie because it really kicks ass. It really does kick ass. And also, they do the thing where it's like where Godzilla gets covered in webs again, completely, by the Mothra larva. And then also, let me just get back to the poster here, and as I'm doing this, then Mechagodzilla goes crazy and again remembers it was Godzilla, and then flies to the ocean and drags Godzilla down to the bottom with him. Now, I guess Mechagodzilla now officially once again knowing that it was Godzilla at one point, I guess it commits suicide, and I guess I don't know if this is true. I guess Godzilla dies in this movie at the end. I guess he drowns because he's covered in webs. The webbing is like wrapping him in a straitjacket or something like that, or whatever, because Godzilla barely moves after he gets covered in the webbing, and Mechagodzilla drags him to the bottom of the ocean. I mean, does he die or something? Does Godzilla die in this movie? Please let me know in the description if Godzilla actually does die in this at the end of the Kiryu saga here. I'm just really curious. And right after the credits, they have like this thing where they show apparently some DNA, the DNA that was extracted from in 1999 for Mechagodzilla apparently was kept in cold storage at the military base or whatever. Because after the credits, they showed Godzilla DNA extracted March 11th in 1999, and that was when they were building Mechagodzilla in last week's movie. So I guess like they got they had some of Godzilla's DNA left or something like that, and I guess he got resurrected, or he got resurrected or something like that. I don't know. I'm so confused by that because like they have the post-credit scene, and then it's like, does Godzilla die? Does he die at the end of this movie? Does he drown or something like that? I don't know. So, anyways, like I said, those are just my thoughts on Tokyo S.O.S. here. So, please subscribe to Megas Dragon for the logo and to Movie Reviews Library because he's with me on that channel along with my boy Alan. The links to both channels will be in the description below. So yeah, like I said, 10 out of 10 for my score for this movie. So yeah, see you guys next week with the last Godzilla film in the Millennium Era. All right, see you everybody.